Hello, this is Shinobi Bench. Today I'm going to talk about I increased by 40 kilograms after realizing this. Bench press sets are not muscle training. In the previous video, I shared how I structured my bench press sets to increase by 40 kilograms in a year. The mindset I had when performing those sets changed based on what I'm about to share with you. And after truly understood and implemented it, my numbers skyrocketed. I think I started becoming aware of this when my max was around 110 kilograms. It took me about 2 years to reach a 110 kilograms max after I started bench pressing. Then it took about 1 year to go from 110 kilograms to 150 kilograms. So of course this isn't the only factor, but from a mindset perspective, it was a major turning point for me. Now I can lift 162.5 kilograms, and this mindset is something I still continue to follow. Honestly, I wish I had known this sooner. Of course, I still have a lot of room to grow, so I continue to keep this in mind as I train. On the other hand, the bench press is a chest-focused muscle building exercise. So if I say sets are not muscle training, some of you might think, what is this guy even talking about? And that's totally understandable. I thought the same things for my first 2 years. I genuinely believed that sets were all about muscle training, so I get it. But when it comes to increase the bench press weight, a lot of people hit a plateau because they don't understand the concept that sets are not muscle training. So in today's video, I want to explain how rethinking sets, not as muscle training but as something else, can actually help increase your bench press weight. On this channel, I post all kinds of videos to help you get stronger at the bench press. You don't have to subscribe right away. Just watch this video, and if you are interested afterward, feel free to come check out channel. If you find the other videos helpful, I'd appreciate it if you subscribed. As for myself, I've been training for 4 years, currently weight 85 kilograms, and my bench press max is 162.5 kilograms. In Japan, I've coached over 500 people online. Of those who continued for over 3 months, more than 90% increased their max. So let's get to the point. The idea that rethinking sets equals something else can lead to a heavier max. That something else is sets equals form practice. What this means is treating each rep of your set as form practice. Performing every rep with good technique. Don't think about targeting the muscles, and don't just aim to complete the set no matter what. Don't bounce the bar, flare your elbows, or do anything just to make the lift. By avoiding these things and approaching each rep as form practice, your bench press weight will increase. If today's workout is 80 kilograms 10 reps 5 sets, then treat it as 50 reps of form practice. If you reach a point during a set where you can't lift without breaking form, then that's where the set ends. Of course, muscle training equals breaking form isn't always true, but when I focus on muscle stimulation, I tend to prioritize completing the set, even if it means compromising form. I've definitely done that before just to finish a set, but afterward, I always reflect and think, damn, I messed a lap. There might be a time when it's better to push through, even with slightly compromised form. But for most training, you should approach sets with the intent to improve technique. Let's dig a little deeper and look at the problems with targeting the muscles, bouncing the bar, or flaring the elbows. This is what I associate with the image of sets equal muscle training. Here's what can happen when you repeatedly do these things. Targeting the muscles. In trying to feel it, you end up adjusting the purpose in a way that reduces leverage or puts stress on the shoulder. In other words, trying to feel the bump prevents you from using a safe and strong position. That said, increasing time and attention (TUT) does have some value. Bouncing the bar. When you bounce to complete the lift, your control at the bottom becomes sloppy, making it harder to find your strong bottom position. As a result, when the weight gets heavier, you can't generate power from the bottom and fail the lift. If your goal is hypertrophy, not using the bottom range properly will also make growth harder. Plus, the risk of fracturing your sternum or ribs increases. Flaring the elbows. This can cause shoulder injuries. I covered this in 7 form mistakes that cause shoulder injuries. Flaring the elbow develops a habit of escaping the load instead of controlling it, and with heavier weights, that habit backfires and leads to failure. Repeating these actions causes poor form to become ingrained, and in the end, your bench press weight doesn't increase. I call this negative repetition practice, and I covered this in another video as well. To prevent this, it's important to approach sets as form practice. After hearing of this, some of you might say, I'm training for hypertrophy, not just to lift more weight. I'm doing this to build muscle. You see a lot of this on social media too, and that's valid. Bench pressers want to increase their bench press numbers and use hypertrophy as a method to do that. In bodybuilding, it's the opposite. Hypertrophy is the goal, and bench press is just one way to get there. Whichever side you're on, confusing the goal and the method is never ideal. Still, there are definitely people out there who are doing all the right things, pushing hard, targeting the muscle, and yet they are not gaining strength, and their muscle growth is limited. The main reason, I believe, is that the weights they are using are just too light. In the end, whether you are a bodybuilder or a bench presser, the methods are the same even if the goals differ. Unless you are a top-level advanced athlete, hypertrophy equals increasing weight. For beginners and intermediates, the potential to increase weight is huge, so focusing on that is critical. Top-level athletes have less room for weight progression, so shifting focus can make sense for them. But fundamentally, muscle grows when you lift heavier weights for more reps. That's the biological reason muscles grow. Things like the mind-muscle connection, stretch and contraction, or isolation work aren't worthless. But compared to lifting heavier weights with good form for more reps, they are less effective. You'll grow way more from doing 120 kilograms for 10 reps with good form than from feeling the burn with 50 kilograms for 10 reps. That's a fact. There is no reason to intentionally put yourself in a disadvantageous position just to target the muscle. It's far more effective to train in a position where you can express maximum strength. When you do that, you also stimulate things that indirectly aid hypertrophy and strength, bone adaptation, hormone secretion, stronger neural signal. On the flip side, someone who can maintain form even under heavy loads is extremely skilled at training. If you can do 120 kilograms for 10 reps with proper form, your pecs are probably massive. I've never heard of someone benching 180 kilograms with a flat chest. And if someone like that existed, they'd have insane bench press technique. They should just become a bench presser. So again, even though goals may differ, what we do is the same. You should also understand that reducing weight to feel the muscle is something only people lifting heavy weights should be doing. Back to the main point. Ultimately, lifting heavy weights with proper form is what drives both strength and hypertrophy. That's why we need a treat. Sets equals form practice. This helps ingrain good form and builds the technique required for heavy lifts. That's good repetition practice. Your form stays intact, reducing injury risk. As your technique improves, your weight goes up. And even if you think of it as just form practice, if the weight gets heavy enough, you'll build muscle naturally. By repeating this across various rep ranges, 10, 8, 5, 1, you'll refine your form across all intensity levels. As a result, your strength and size increase. When your weight increases, you optimize your form again for that new weight, and then your size and strength increase again. This cycle of technique improvement, weight increase, strength and size increase, weight increase, technique improvement is incredibly important. Put all your focus into technique, that is form practice, and everything else will fall naturally. So don't think of sets as muscle training. Think of sets as form practice. That's it for today. This channel has tons of videos to help you get stronger at the bench pressing. You don't have to subscribe right away, but if you find this video helpful, feel free to check out the channel afterward. If you find the other videos useful too, I'd really appreciate it if you subscribed. Let's keep working hard on the bench press. See you next time.